when you render in Blender, be sure that your project settings are still correct, or that your project settings are set. That your output resolution is set to 100% and matches your wanted resolution, that your frame rate is correct, your output folder is where you want it to be, that your file, movie and audio codecs are selected correctly, set up correctly, and if you're working in the video editing, that your scene render size is rendered and not proxies. If this still is set to proxies, your output will be very bad. Okay, so much for that. The next thing is check that your end frame actually covers your project, or that whatever you render is within these frames. So your start frame should be where your first frame is, and your end frame should be where the last strip ends. In my case, it's 1583, and before it was 1584. And rename your output files as soon as you get them, because when you reuse them in your motion tracking import and then use them for compositing your output, they will read from the same file as they write to, and thus effectively taking the time it takes to render but destroying both files in the process. So you lose your motion tracking and compositing data. And another thing is, the video sequence editor will always win over the node editor. So if you're compositing something, the video sequence editor will still overlay its output on top of whatever you constructed in the compositor. So be sure to erase everything in here before you start rendering in the compositing mode. Yeah, and you render by going onto render animation. That's it.